My mom blamed my weight, so I told her she ruined my life. I remember that day vividly, as if the universe had conspired to bring everything to a head, all at once. My mother's words cut deep, deeper than any physical wound ever could, and in that moment I couldn't hold back anymore. But let me take you back to where it all began. Growing up in a bustling middle-class Asian family with four brothers, life was a whirlwind of expectations and obligations. Our home was filled with the aroma of simmering spices and the constant hum of voices. From a young age, it was drilled into us that education was paramount, and everything else came secondary. Physical activity was a luxury we couldn't afford, or so our parents said. Instead, we were encouraged to bury our noses in books, our leisure time filled with homework and the comforting embrace of food. Food in our household was more than just sustenance. It was a celebration, a reward, a solace. But as comforting as it was, it also became a silent adversary. All five of us children, along with my parents, struggled with our weight. It was as if we were locked in a dance with our diets. One step forward, two steps back. My journey with weight was complicated further when, at 14, I was diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, a hormonal disorder that made losing weight feel like pushing a boulder uphill. Despite the odds, I was determined to change. From the age of 21 to 24, I embarked on an arduous journey of extreme dieting and rigorous exercise. The scale finally tipped in my favor. I lost around 30 kilograms. But the victory was bittersweet. The relentless pursuit of a thinner self led me to the brink of an eating disorder. During this tumultuous time, another storm brewed on the horizon. My parents, with their well-intentioned yet misguided wisdom, arranged a marriage for me. I remember the day they told me, their eyes filled with a mix of pride and expectation. My heart sank, but I didn't have the courage to defy them. The marriage turned out to be a nightmare, every bit as abusive and horrible as I feared. Yet, amidst the chaos, I found a glimmer of hope. I was pregnant. For a brief moment, I envisioned a future where love and joy could exist amidst the ruins. Tragically, that hope was short-lived. At 4 months, I lost the pregnancy. The physical and emotional toll left me shattered. I returned to my parents' home, seeking refuge and solace. Instead, I found myself in the midst of another battle. Divorce. As I tried to pick up the pieces of my life, the weight I had so painstakingly lost crept back on, each kilo a testament to the burdens I carried. Years later, I found love again and remarried. This time, things were different. My husband was kind, supportive, and understanding of the struggles I faced. With renewed determination, I attempted to lose weight through healthier means, strength training and a balanced diet. Yet, with PCOS and a new diagnosis of adenomyosis, a painful condition I developed post-miscarriage, progress was slow and often disheartening. It was against this backdrop of struggle and resilience that I found myself at my parents' home once more. It was a typical family gathering, filled with the usual chatter and laughter. As I rifled through the closet looking for a dress, the conversation had turned to my sister-in-law's marriage. Her parents had gifted her beautiful dresses, a gesture of love and pride. I remarked on their generosity, perhaps with a twinge of envy, but it was an innocent comment. My mother's response, however, was anything but. Her words were sharp, laced with an underlying bitterness. "Well, we didn't get you anything nice because you're just so fat," she snapped. "Women like your sister-in-law will be able to wear these dresses for years to come, but yours will be unwearable in a year or two. Nice things are for fit people." The room seemed to close in around me, her words echoing in my mind, each syllable a fresh sting. My years of resentment, the pain of the past, the lifelong struggle with weight, all of it surged to the surface like a tidal wave. In that moment, I couldn't hold back any longer. I looked at my mother, the woman who had given me life, and let the words fall from my lips. "It's your fault we're all fat," I said, my voice trembling with a mix of anger and sadness. "Unhealthy parents make unhealthy children. You made us all obese. It's your fault I have PCOS and now adenomyosis. My life is a series of struggles compared to my peers, and you played a part in that." My mother's face crumpled, tears welling in her eyes. She began to cry, her words tumbling out in a flurry of defensiveness and hurt. "You want us to just die," she accused, her voice breaking. "We did so much for you, and you'll always be ungrateful." The rest of the family watched in stunned silence, their judgment palpable. They thought I had crossed a line, and perhaps I had. But in that moment all I felt was a profound sense of release, mingled with an overwhelming sadness. As I drove home, tears slid down my cheeks, the weight of the confrontation heavy on my heart. I felt like a stranger in my own life, disconnected from the family that was supposed to be my anchor. My mother's words haunted me, a constant reminder of the chasm that now lay between us. In the days that followed, I wrestled with my conscience. My mother expected an apology, but I found myself unable to offer one. The pain of the past was too raw, too real. I felt as though I no longer had a family, no home to return to. The emotional fallout was immense, leaving me adrift in a sea of uncertainty and regret. Yet, amidst the turmoil, I found a sliver of clarity. I realized that healing would not come from placating those who had hurt me, but from finding peace within myself. My journey was far from over, but I was determined to forge a path that was true to who I was and who I aspired to be. In the quiet moments of reflection, I understood that while my mother's words had been hurtful, they were born out of her own insecurities and fears. She, too, was a product of her environment, shaped by the same pressures and expectations that had governed my life. Understanding this didn't erase the pain, but it softened the edges, allowing me to see her as a flawed human, rather than just the source of my suffering. As I look to the future, I am resolved to break the cycle, to create a life of health and happiness free from the shadows of the past. It won't be easy, but for the first time I feel a sense of hope. And so, while my relationship with my mother remains strained, I am learning to let go of the resentment, to find forgiveness not just for her, but for myself. In doing so, I am slowly reclaiming my life, one step at a time. The car ride home was an emotional storm, each tear a silent testament to the tumultuous sea of feelings churning within me. I stared out the window, watching the world blur by, feeling as if I was suspended in a bubble of my own making. It was a peculiar mix of liberation and loss, and I couldn't quite decide which emotion held more weight. As I sat there, my husband's hand gently resting on mine, I thought about the cycles we get trapped in, often without realizing it. My mind drifted back to my childhood, to the days when our home was filled with the aroma of rich, comforting meals. Food was our solace, our way of showing love and care, but it came with a hidden cost. The realization that my mother was as much a victim of this cycle as I was hit me like a sudden summer storm, unexpected and intense. But understanding didn't come with an easy solution. Each step towards forgiveness felt like a tightrope walk, precarious and fraught with the risk of falling back into old patterns of blame and guilt. A part of me longed for the comfort of reconciliation, while another part clung to the anger that had been my shield for so long. In the days following that fateful confrontation, I found myself oscillating between moments of quiet reflection and bursts of raw emotion. The house felt eerily quiet, the usual hum of familial chaos replaced by a silence that seemed to amplify my inner turmoil. My husband, ever patient, gave me the space I needed, his presence a reassuring constant in a world that felt otherwise uncertain. I began to wonder if my mother had always felt the same pressure to conform, to present a certain image to the world. In our culture, appearances often hold as much weight as reality, and the pressure to uphold that facade can be suffocating. Perhaps, in her own way, she had been trying to protect us, to shield us from the harsh judgments of a world that values thinness and beauty above all else. Yet, for all my attempts at understanding, the pain lingered, a stubborn thorn that refused to be dislodged. I yearned for the days when family gatherings were simple, when laughter came easily and without the shadow of past grievances. But I knew that to move forward, I needed to let go of the illusion of what was and accept the reality of what is. That realization led me to a therapist's office, a safe haven where I could unravel the tangled web of emotions that had ensnared me for so long. It was there, in the gentle confines of that room, that I slowly began to peel back the layers, to confront the fear and shame that had taken root deep within me. The process was neither quick nor painless, but it was necessary, a cathartic cleanse of the soul. As weeks turned into months, I noticed subtle changes within myself. The resentment that had once been a constant companion began to fade, replaced by a quiet determination to redefine my life on my terms. I started setting small, achievable goals, each one a step towards a healthier, happier version of myself. My focus shifted from losing weight to gaining strength, both physically and emotionally. I learned to celebrate the victories, no matter how small, and to find joy in the journey rather than fixating solely on the destination. With each passing day, I felt more at peace, more in tune with the person I was becoming. The strained relationship with my mother remained a challenge, a delicate dance of tentative steps towards a new understanding. We spoke occasionally, our conversations careful and measured, like two people navigating a fragile truce. There were moments of warmth, glimmers of the bond that had once been, and for those I was grateful. Through it all, I held on to the hope that one day we might find a way to rebuild, to forge a connection that was not bound by the past, but inspired by the possibility of a brighter future. Until then, I continued to work on myself, to nurture the seeds of forgiveness and compassion that had begun to take root in my heart. In the end, life is a series of choices, and I chose to embrace the path of healing, to find strength in vulnerability and courage in the face of uncertainty. It was a journey that demanded patience and perseverance, but it was a journey worth taking. And so, I moved forward, one step at a time, armed with the knowledge that while the past may have shaped me, it does not define me. I am free to write my own story, to live a life that is authentic and true to who I am. And in that, I find a sense of peace that I had long thought unattainable. New stories drop soon,